This is probably about phase 2. You know, I'm all right with calling it a build, right? As a noun, this thing's a build. These necks were available, especially you can imagine 10 years ago. You could get these things online, and if you notice, this one is a lefty, right? So especially the lefties. I think I paid something like $30 for this neck. It was $29.95. And it, you know, obviously the headstock is very familiar, but I think it's a little bit oversized. Since the neck was so big and chunky, it didn't really feel right with regular strings on it. So I got the idea to put some thicker strings on it and tune it down a little bit. So now it's a, I guess you call it a baritone, kind of, even though it's, you know, normal scale. It plays like a baritone. It's in B standard. What do you think about that, huh? As you can see, I don't know what they were doing. I mean, it's definitely intentional. You know, they were just being pretty fearless and just whacking away at it. I believe this is the original bridge that was on there. And the pickups, let's see. This one, I believe, yeah, this is a made in Mexico single coil here, and I like the ones from this era. It's got the 2 bar magnets on the bottom, and it doesn't have that really super twangy thing going on, which is kind of a problem when you get up into the middle and the neck pickup. But if you use them just for the bridge, and then use, you know, some regular output pickups up in here, then it turns out pretty good. Just, you know, endless midnights spent searching the web for deals on used Strat single coils. So the 2 knobs. I've done this on a lot of my builds. You know, I was getting really into the. That was when it really started getting fun. Is that, you know, after you actually assemble the guitar, then you can mess around with electronics and try all kinds of different things. And I did a bunch, you know, blend knobs and you know, middle pickup volume knob and you know, all kinds of different stuff. But I ended up back here, just simply volume, tone. Okay. First of all, you know, like I've mentioned before, I do a lot of palm muting. So you can see the way that works is that my pinky, would always get kind of stuck up in the volume knob. And so it's kind of nice just to have, you know, a couple of guitars like this where that thing's out of your way. So you can just chug to your heart's content. And another thing too is that it's one less pot to worry about buying, right? So like if say you got 6 pots, then you could make then you're covered in the pot department for 3 guitars instead of 2. Hey, and yeah, see how it looks like I got a nice switch in here. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So this one I'm going to call phase 3. A lot of people were buying these guitars for the necks because the necks are actually pretty nice. But the bodies, as far as I know, I think they came with plywood bodies, laminate bodies, right? So so a lot of people would get the guitar, use the neck on a different guitar, and actually that's kind of what I ended up doing. This is the neck that came off of that other guitar. You know, that I turned into a baritone. You know, and the body actually has some honest wear on it, and it came together pretty good. It looks all right, you know, because the neck was kind of old, the body's kind of old, and the pick guard looks old. But anyway, let's take a closer look. All right, so this is when things started kind of getting cooking. This was also the I believe this was also the original bridge that was on here, so I just left that on there. But I think I did find this sort of, you know, tarnished, and it's kind of flaky output jack plate, right? So that kind of worked in. You know, it's very lightly scratched, and it's got some dings and some stuff on here, and you know, it's just all natural wear. But this pick guard, like I mentioned, now that you can see a little closer, you can see that they got a little. They didn't really do a very subtle job. It's not very natural. It's like, you know, there should be some discoloration maybe around the knobs and stuff and the switch, you know, but they just did it down under here, which doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. But anyway, it was cheap, and it kind of works with this age of guitar. So again, we got master volume, master tone, and yeah, nice switch in there. You can just tell, but just by the way it sounds and feels. There's what am I calling this? Yeah, we'll call this around phase 3, my building journey. This one I'm calling phase 4. I got another one of those necks, the same neck that was on the red one. This one's very, very dark blue. I don't know if you can tell that right now. And as you can see, I've got a very worn in bridge. I think that was also artificially aged. But I got that and put that on here, and I had that pick guard, you know, a chromed pick guard, and that thing is old. That thing came on something that I got back in the 80s, and I think it's even older than that. It's got some wear on it there, you might be able to see. But I don't know what the person was doing with this neck, because I didn't age it like that. It came like that. It looks like they took a blowtorch to it or something. All right, they were trying to roast it or something. And I gotta say, it feels pretty all right. You know, let's take a closer look. Now, this one came together real nice. Now you can tell, you can see that it's kind of a bluish color, very dark blue. I've tried different pick guards with it, and nothing really works. You know, I tried a white one, of course, a black one. I think I had a red tortoise one on here for a little while, but just none of it. You know, so I was just like, you know what? This thing's just an ugly duckling. I'm gonna put this fancy thing, because I couldn't find anywhere else to put it, and it was laying there unused. So it's like, all right, we're gonna put the shiny one on here. I actually haven't really tested it out to see if that helps with shielding. I should probably investigate that. As you can see, here we go again. We got the 2 knobs. So there's that exact situation that I was describing. You know, you got 6 pots. Now you got enough pots to make 3 guitars instead of 2. Again, very nice switch in here. And these pickups, all right, so these 2 I still can recognize as the, there was this guy on eBay who was doing hand-wound pickups, and he would sell them in sets, and he would do custom orders. But then every once in a while he would put one up on an auction, right, now to buy it now, and he would just kind of, you know, let it be. He would just let it go for however much it got bid up to. I think he would start it at $19.99. This is a really nice pickup here. This is an aged Fender pickup. Might be a road worn or something like this. But it happened to be the correct opposite polarity. So it worked out well with these. This is, you know, this one is, I think it's set up real nice. It's adjusted real nice. It feels real nice and real nice. And you know, the way I end up setting up these things is, you know, I'm not really I'm getting a little better at it, but it takes me a while. It takes me a long while. You know, it used to take me you know, a couple weeks. You know, you set it up the way you think you want it, and then you let it, you know, you just kind of let the guitar rest for a few days, and you come back to it and you go, you know what, I'm gonna change. So you know, over the process of you know, making changes a million little times, it ends up turning out pretty well. You know, especially if it's gone a few years that way. You know, you just, every time you pick it up, you just say, oh, you know what, it needs just a little. It just needs a little change, this just a tiny bit. You know, get your radius gauge out. You know, I really like this bridge. In fact, I like this one so much. Like I said, this was I think this was artificially aged, but I liked this so much that I did end up putting, I don't know if you can see it, but it's got a big old solid brass trem block in there, and I think it helps, especially with these heavy strings, because this one's still got the 11 to 52s on it. Like I've said, you know, I'm mostly a strummer, so it works pretty well for strumming some chords on there. Yeah, so that's this one. So eventually, you know, after doing a few builds and, you know, doing a bunch of research, I finally, you know, built up the confidence to go ahead and get some nice parts and put them together. This is from the Baja line, and you know, it's nice. It's kind of it's a nice chunky body, and this was my daily driver for several years. So I was playing this every day, so, you know, that being the case, the neck just feels really great to me, and it's a nice neck. It's this guitar has gone through this is its 3rd neck. Eventually I just finally said, you know what, I'm just going to go for it, and going to get a nice neck, and I put it on there, and it really worked out well. So I've got the plate reversed here, so I've got my volume here. This little knob is the tone, and switch back here, regular 3-way switch. And yeah, for a while I remember I had a 4-way switch going on with this, getting both of them in series, I think it's called, right? So I was doing that for a little while. I think I had some brass saddles on here for a little while, but I went back to these, and I dropped it at one point. So like I said, I was using it every day, so dropped it right on the output jack, and a bunch of the paint came off. So I did kind of a, just kind of did a crappy job fixing it. But I like it. It gives it, gives it character. It's definitely my guitar now, and it works fine, of course. So what else have we got here? Yeah, it's just it's a great medium lightweight. It's on the light side, definitely, which is nice. Nice chunky neck, and this was sort of the end game, I guess, when I started out. But when you're using lower quality parts, and you're building Strats, and then you build a Tele after doing all that for so long, it seems almost like cheating, because it just comes together, and then all of a sudden you're done, right? You only got 2 pickups, right? And there's no tremolo to worry about. I think these are just your basic American Fender pickups in here. It sounds fine. It sounds like a Telecaster. It's pretty cool. But yeah, I use this for quite a while every day, and it really is a great guitar. One thing that was great about messing around with parts on these guitars is, once I made this, and it was kind of like, okay, that's kind of why I learned, is because I wanted to be able to get a guitar like this for pretty cheap. Again, I hunted down this part and the neck, and everything was hunted down at the cheapest price possible. So, and it was at least 10 years ago. I was using different necks on here. I had for a little while I had a Squier Classic Vibe Telecaster neck on here that eventually ended up on a Classic Vibe body. I decided at one point that gotten to a certain point playing wise, and maybe I should look into taking a few lessons. What was really cool is that I went in there first time, and it had that Squier neck on it, and so of course he had no idea that I was so deeply into this stuff. And so he gave me a lesson or two with the Squier neck, and then the third time I came in, I had changed it to the Fender. But then I came in with the Fender neck. Didn't say anything about it. Just kind of pulled it out of the gig bag and started playing it. And I didn't know what to expect. I just thought maybe he'd say something like, "Oh, did you get a new guitar?" Or something like that. And maybe I would explain to him what happened. But this is when I think I realized the true purpose of why I started messing around with guitars and parts of guitars. Right? It all made it worth it. When I saw him, he took one look at that neck, and he didn't say anything, but he did one of those massive double takes, and he was like, "What?" But he didn't say anything. He just literally made this face. And that made it all worthwhile. Random 45. All right, random 45. Let's go with this one. Oh, this is a cool one. This is the Bildz. Check them out. How cool is this? Old 45 from the Let It Be album. Oh, what do you know? It's the title track, the Beatles, Let It Be, backed with You Know My Name. Look up the number. Random 45. 35.